So I remember being on an India tour, and for some reason I'd finished up learning how to play the dholak from this Indian musician called Simple, which is really funny because all the Westerners, particularly the ladies, Mother had said, should learn dholak. And I hadn't ordered one, but somehow one arrived, and yours truly was the one who got this dholak and was learning how to play it. Anyway, we are at a place called Haryana, which is on the banks of the river Yamuna. And suddenly, and I was hanging back, I was late, and also there was this lady, this Austrian lady, who sings, I think the two of us were together, and suddenly this call comes that Shimataji wants to see all the Sahaja yogis, but especially the musicians. And it finishes up, but suddenly then I'm in this car with Bruno and some others, and I'm like one of the musicians. And then the next thing is I'm sitting in this garden because I hadn't gone to the river, so I was there in my sari. So I'm sitting in this garden and all the other yogis are slowly coming along. And Mother comes and sits down, and there's a couple of things I remember. One is she starts speaking and she says, "Get up and move over there." So I get up to move, and then Shimataji says to me in English, "No, you be comfortable." And I realised she hadn't actually spoken in English, she'd spoken in Hindi or Marathi, and it was to the Indian boy who was sitting next to me. And then we play this song, or we sing this bhajan that Simple had composed, and there I was on the dholak in front of the Adi Shakti playing the dholak. And then the next thing is that Mother's talking to us, and I remember just looking into her eyes, because I was that close, I'm as far away almost as I am from this camera. And her eyes are just like deep, deep. It's like the deep ocean, it's like the sea, only they're brown. It's like swimming in this beautiful brown, chocolatey ocean. Chocolate isn't the wrong word. And I remember that was on the tour when Shimataji said, "Your Kundalini lets you sleep because she's your mother. But really, you should get up at 4 o'clock in the morning." And so every morning after that, we were woken up and we had meditation at 4 o'clock, which was terrific. But the other thing that Mother said is she was asking the names of all the trees around, and we didn't know, and we were laughing. And Shimataji was laughing, but she said, "You ought to know. You should know." So that's that one. Perhaps on the same India tour, or it might have been a different one, and a friend of mine, Maureen, had said, "You have to be careful what you desire in India, because you get it." So this was my first India tour, and we had just arrived. Actually, it was at this place, Haryana, and everybody was wearing bangles, and they were so nice, these bangles, and they're pretty colours, and they jingle and jangle as you move your wrist. And my wrist was too large. There was no bangles that would fit my hand. So it was like just as a joke, really. I just said inside myself to Shimataji, "Please, can I have some bangles that will actually fit over my wrists? And sort of while you're about it, can they be pink?" Anyway, we go to a program one evening. It might have been the next evening or it might have been 2 days later. I don't remember. But when I get back, I come to my suitcase, and on my suitcase is this white tissue paper, beautifully wrapping up something. And I'm trying to find out who's left something on my suitcase because it's chaos around, and I just assume that someone's left something there by accident. Nobody claims to have any knowledge of this little package, so I open it up, and inside are 6 large pink, or is it 12, large pink bangles, large enough to go over my wrist. It still took me a day or so to remember that I'd actually asked Mother for these, and that she'd given me what I'd asked for.
So you never found out where they'd come from?
Never found out where they'd come from. No.
Had you told anybody else?
No. It was my secret.
Wow.
Between me and God.
Isn't that fabulous?
Now, talking of secrets, there's another secret. There was one time in Cabela, and the English had done a play. We'd put on a play, And this was in the at the time when the hosting people would get gifts. So Shemataji would either hand out personally gifts to people, or she would give them to the leader, who would then hand them out. And so because I was in the play, so everybody who was in the play was called up. And I went up, and I was feeling so like a little lamb or a goat or something. I was like, oh my God, no, it's not possible. And everybody queued up nicely and went to get their gift. And I think I came up the steps, and I just felt so uncomfortable to be so close to God Almighty, basically, that I just went up and I sort of grabbed this thing and scuttled off. And when I got back to my seat, I'd been given, it was either a necklace or it was a photo frame. No, I think it was a photo frame. Anyway, I sat down in meditation because I felt so miserable that I'd had the opportunity to go and kneel before God and accept a gift from this beautiful lady with this lovely dark hair, and I'd completely blown it. I'd just grabbed this thing and run in my timidity. Anyway, so I actually found myself, just from my heart, just came this prayer, please may I have this opportunity again so that I can actually treat myself and treat you with the dignity that I deserve. I was sort of thinking, the next puja or something, if I was thinking of anything. Anyway, the next thing is, there's a request for all the leaders to go up. Now, at the time, I was the leader, this is a joke, but I was the leader of Gloucestershire. I was virtually the only person who lived there, but I was the leader. So I get to go up one more time. And this time I bowed in Namaskar and I took my time and I thanked Sri Mataji, and the whole thing just ended beautifully.
Was this another gift? Were you given a gift this time as well?
This was another gift, yes. So it was on the same occasion, and I received two things. One was a tiny little photo frame, and the other was a necklace. And the photo frame, there's also a story attached to that, which is that I looked at this photo frame, and it's tiny, it's on my altar now, it was tiny, and I thought, I do not have a picture of Sri Mataji that is small enough to go into this frame. And then one day I was driving back to my parents' house, who lived in Birmingham at the time, and it suddenly came to me that there was a photograph of me as a little child when I was about 2 or 3 years old that would just fit perfectly into this frame, and that actually that's what the frame was intended for. It was intended for a photo of myself. So this sweet little child of 2 or 3 years old, the photo fitted absolutely perfectly into the frame, and that picture has sat on my altar ever since, for a specific reason, but we don't need to go into that.
Okay, and was there one other? You said there were 4.
There was 4. But the
But
other
this- I was going to say, maybe could you talk a little, perhaps, just about your experience of
Sahaja,
of meditation, or the how you feel it helps you, or where or when perhaps you feel that it helps you particularly, or I mean, that might not be something that's at the forefront of your mind. I mean, I've asked a few people that. Or the particular benefits you derive from it.
Okay. So on a first of all, to generalise, I would say that as human beings, we're very complicated. But human beings are capable of incredible depth and incredible love, and I think the way that God probably intended us to live was to really enjoy each other, and to get to know each other, and to really partake of this vast tapestry that is humanity living on this earth. And there's been world wars, there's been all sorts of things, everybody has their own story, and we're all a bit sort of hung up and strung up and slightly weird and difficult to get at. And my experience of Sahaja Yoga at the moment is that we can all just relax and start to live life the way that is enjoyable, which is to actually get to know each other and to be of service to others and to actually allow ourselves to be loved and to allow ourselves to love others. And I don't mean just like husband and wife.
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally, that's it. And also, because the quieter water is, the more depth there is. And then if you're in that state, you can actually see what's going on around you and you can start to understand. And this is the way human beings have to live. There doesn't need to be conflict. We don't need to have... We can have different points of view, but there doesn't need to be struggle. There doesn't need to be strife. It's all man-made. And it's just a very nice feeling, I think, to be alive on this earth at the moment and to be part of making that roaring water within us that's all over the place, actually finding it come to a stillness, and also outside in the world to just do our bit, not even thinking about it, just bringing some peace in this world.
That's great. Thank you very much, Philippa. That's really
Good.
lovely. Lovely.
And here comes Layla.
Good timing as well.